I'm Damien O'Sullivan. I work for the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries in the area of grazing land management. Healthy pastures provide a productive grazing property for people. They also resist the invasion of weeds and also the things like giant rat's tail grass that might come in and start to take over those pastures. Some of the suitable pasture species for the wide bay burnet are Rhodes grass, quite easy to establish, creeping bluegrass, humidicola or pangola. There's also some really good native pastures in the local area, black spear grass, burnet bluegrass. Always think about putting in a mixture of pastures and also adding some legumes. Giant rat's tail grass in your pasture is a problem because the grass is really quite unpalatable. Animals selectively graze out the better pastures and leave the giant rat's tail grass behind. So in the end you end up with a very unproductive pasture over that period of time. Managing giant rat's tail grass will depend on the amount of giant rat's tail grass you have in a paddock. If you've just got small isolated clumps of giant rat's tail grass in the paddock, you really need to get onto it as soon as possible and treat those small amounts. If you're starting to get a paddock that's probably up to 50% giant rat's tail grass, you'll need to use chemicals, maybe fire, maybe ploughing, replanting, those sorts of things. When we're looking for good pasture in a paddock, we're looking for our 3P species. So that's our palatable, perennial and productive species. So they're the types of species that are going to be in that pasture for a long time if we manage it properly, and those species will also give us really good ground cover over a long period of time. And one of the keys to a good pasture is having excellent ground cover. And in the quadrats that we're showing, in the first quadrat, we've got 90% ground cover. And ground cover is any organic matter on the surface of the soil that stops the impact of a raindrop on the soil. In the second quadrat, you can see that there's only about 10% ground cover. When we've got a situation like that, we've got lots of runoff, we're losing nutrients from the soil, and that's when we get degradation of pasture, and that's when we get invasion of pasture by plants such as broadleaf weeds and things like giant rat's tail grass. Land condition assessment is a really good tool to assess your property and pastures to see where you might sit as far as the productivity of the pastures. So if we have land in A condition, that's the most productive condition that we can have land in. But once we've got land in C condition, it's about half as productive as land in A condition. So quickly people can see the importance of assessing your pasture based on that land condition. And one of the ways that people can do the assessment for their pasture is to attend a stocktake workshops that are run by the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries.